Hello, I am Gary Sweat. Thank you for looking at the preview for Street Smart Defense Tactics. First, let me tell you a little bit about Street Smart Defense Tactics. Although Street Smart Defense Tactics considers martial arts and demonstrates firearms training techniques, those areas are not my primary focus. My primary emphasis is on utilizing escape and evasion techniques to get away from criminals. Although I do teach the tactical use of firearms as part of my courses, the emphasis of the training focuses on using your senses, your brain, eyes, and hearing to not be involved in a criminal attack. Your number one self-defense weapon is not a gun. It is your powers of observation. When you hone these powers, you will be much more effective than just using a gun. I will discuss how to be aware of everything going on around you. You will learn how to identify threats, how to escape from attackers, and how to respond if escape is not an option. I will show you how to identify high-risk areas and why you should avoid them. You will learn how to communicate to criminals that you are not someone to be messed with. You'll learn how to train for a threat. You do not need weapons to train, but a training partner could be very beneficial. My training is primarily in the avoidance and escape from criminals. However, I do demonstrate the use of weapons when you cannot escape. Your potential adversaries on the street are primarily criminals, but could also be bystanders and the police. If you act inappropriately, a bystander could misunderstand your actions and report you as the bad guy. If the police misunderstand your actions in defending yourself, you could be arrested. Therefore, in addition to training for criminals, you also need extensive training to avoid misunderstandings by witnesses and the police. I believe the best tactic is to avoid a threat by escaping from a criminal attack. Even if you survive a shootout, you could be chewed up in the legal system. If you have to fight, I believe my techniques would be extremely fruitful. However, escaping both the criminal and the legal system is the better part of valor. No matter how justified your self-defense is, if you have to defend yourself, you may get involved with the police, attorneys, and bail bondsmen. Therefore, it is crucial you use any means possible to avoid becoming entangled in the judicial system. If you have no other choice than defend yourself, you should be able to explain everything you did to avoid a confrontation. Let me tell you a little about my background. I was born and lived the first 28 years of my life in a town called Richmond, California. Richmond is in the San Francisco Bay Area. For many decades, Richmond has been in the top 10 worst cities nationally crime-wise. During the time I lived in Richmond, I was beaten and robbed dozens of times. From each of those incidents, I developed techniques to avoid and escape from criminals. Let's look at what you'll find in volumes 1 through 3 of Street Smart Defense Tactics. Everything you'll find in the videos is based on my personal experiences or first-hand knowledge of crimes. In most instances, the crimes happened to me. First, we will consider the psychology of criminals who will attack you. You may be surprised at some people who you would have never thought would attack you. We will consider what criminals want from you. Criminals want either valuables or a psychological satisfaction. The videos look at why you should defend yourself. Many people will tell you to just let the police protect you. We will look at how this could have fatal consequences for the person who believes that. You need to know where and when crimes will most likely occur. With that knowledge, you can avoid being in those areas and at those times. I will discuss criminals I have known and how thugs will attack you. This knowledge will enable you to know when a thug is sizing you up for an attack. I will take you inside the mind of a criminal and what he wants from you, your wife, and children. The videos will demonstrate the need for you to keep cool when someone is attacking you. This is necessary so you can provide an adequate response to the attack. I will relate behavior you should avoid doing for your own safety. I will use an example of my father getting in a shooting with a gang member. I will also discuss tactics I used to avoid being stabbed and shot by criminals.